Situational leader. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome distinguished Toastmaster Ron Allman.
I like to work with props. The lectern is your friend. Leadership. We've all heard about it. We've heard the word over and over. It's past the threshold of our brains until it saturates. But do we really know what it is? If I were to ask each and every one of you to describe leadership, define it, I would probably get a different answer from everybody. And when I looked into the definitions myself, I went to about 8 different places and I had 8 different definitions. They all centered around, though, pretty much one theme. Leadership is the ability to lead, guide, motivate an individual or a group or a team or an organization to achieve some type of goal or to achieve some type of objective. That's what leadership is. And there are a couple of different types of leadership. There's formal leadership and there's informal leadership. The formal ones are the ones that are titled. You have a boss. You have an assistant boss. You have a designated team leader. It might be called something different in every different organization. But then you might have what would be called the ad hoc or the informal leaders. Those that just pop up because of a situation. Oh my gosh, this problem, how are we going to take care of it? Well, gee, I don't know. And someone will say, well, I remember this. I think I used to had something similar to this, and this is what we did. Well, guess what? You just got an informal leader right there. Now, leaders and leadership are pretty much ingrained, whether they're formal or informal, and each one of the leaders has some type of characteristic that transcends all of the different styles and all of the different variations that might happen. One of them is they're an effective communicator. When we talk about being a leader, what do you have to do? One of the first things is you have to convince people that what you're trying to do or it should be done your way. And unless you're in an authoritarian part of the military and you have the bars or the stripes say, you know, we'll compromise and do it my way because I said so, you have to convince people what you're doing and why it's right. So being an effective communicator is one of those things that is paramount to any type of leadership. One of the keys to being a good leader, though, is also leading by example. I remember I had one sergeant when I started one of my military careers, and I had had 2. And my first career, I had an old, crusty master sergeant. God, I love that man. He would come up with these little gems, and one of the things he said was, I will never order anybody to do something I wouldn't do myself. He said that one day as he grabbed a mop and was mopping the floors in our office because it needed to be done and he had a little extra time and everybody else was tied up doing work-related stuff. So when he said, hey, how about mopping those floors? Yes, Sergeant, I'll do it right away. He led by example. And that is a characteristic of a good leader, regardless of whether it's mopping the floor, taking out the trash, doing some other kind of menial job, or just taking on a role. If you're not willing to do it yourself, then how can you expect other people to follow you? And I think in one of the ways Toastmasters also promotes that by all the different leading roles that we have. Everybody can be a timer. Everybody can be a grammarian. Everybody can be a Toastmaster. You take on all those roles so that way when somebody asks you to do it, it's not like you're saying, well, I want you to do something I wouldn't do myself. It is one of the characteristics that defines a good leader. Also, being optimistic and open-minded. Some people call it having a good attitude. Don't have a negative attitude as you come through. And that's hard to do. And I know that's hard for me to do because I've come in and had a bad day and I'm grumbling. And then sometimes I've got to just hit myself on the back of the head with a 2x4 and say, hey, let's snap out of it. I think I've done it most of the time. I know the times I haven't. I won't apologize now because on my favorite show, NCIS, apology is a sign of weakness. Never do that. But the last thing is integrity. You should always have integrity. And I've never heard a better definition of integrity than one that I can't even trace its origins. I just remember I've had this from like day one. Integrity is where you do something not because it's the correct thing to do, not because of what it's the expected thing to do, but because it's the right thing to do. So if you can live your life that way, you have integrity. And having integrity is something that will keep you as a solid leader, as one who can be trusted, as one that can be respected. So, as far as when do you use these? Well, you're going to have to take these types of skills and you put them together. You might have different types of situations that are going to cause for different types of management styles. In the military, if you're leading someone into combat, you're not going to be a democratic type of governor. Come on, guys, let's talk about this and make a decision. It's go, you go now. If you don't go, you might be killed. If you're in the Toastmasters club, you're learning. And it's a totally different style. So when you think about different management styles, don't think about it as one size fits all. Because if you do, you're not going to be able to apply the right management style all the time. But think about it. What is your management style, and how do you apply it? And see if maybe you need to change the styles to fit the situation. Mr. Toastmaster.